he'll shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the maggot face to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Go through crises, storms, and more. Called soldiers losers who died in war. Hire his kids to run D.C. If it was Hunter, they'd scream treachery. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, the numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, Fox News would say our day. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Love Kim Jong-un, he wrote love letters that take the guns first, lose those rights forever. Signed you spending bills with glee. Had Joe done that, it'd be tyranny. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they shout love today. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Kept secret files, countless untold. Said Putin's word was good as gold. Invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil. If Joe had done that, they'd all recoil. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards, loud and clear. Rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason, if Joe's the name, is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan.
Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause you know we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic, he'll vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation contained. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue of Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause you know this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish space laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used a literal dog whistle to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler, you ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like Scolary, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
Self-proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk on the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us flow. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk comes the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk on the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
All right, welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. We are going to skip the typical formalities because I'm inviting a guest on the show to talk about an example of racism on behalf of a teacher in the Lafayette school system. So without further ado, I welcome B onto the show. Hey, thank you very much for connecting in and telling your story so we can tell more people what the heck is going on here and perhaps what the
Hey,
next steps we
Dan.
need to take. So what's going on?
I appreciate you for having me tonight.
Oh, it's my
All
pleasure.
right, so I'll go ahead and skip the formalities and get right to it. It's sort of very simple. With this teacher was giving my obviously not white son very minor violations for very simple things, like not taking his beanie off as soon as he came in her classroom from outside. Mind you, like where he's allowed to have his beanie on. As soon as he got in the room, if he hadn't taken it off as he was walking in, she would give him a minor violation, which 4 of those leads to an in-school suspension. So
Right.
my son had 2 of those in-school suspensions due to those minor violations before everything that started happening with ICE and Minnesota and non-white people being targeted,
Right.
including United States citizens.
Exactly. So with the is there evidence, like I know I've similar circumstances with my youngest as well, who's in 7th grade, and we have one teacher that just seems to just be terrible, but it's not necessarily specifically targeting him, but it's just terrible to multiple students at least. So have you heard anything about this same teacher being terrible to other students, or is it just your kid in particular?
I have not. In fact, when I brought it up to a friend of mine who works at the school, she had heard from her students who do not look like my son. I'll just throw that out there. That they love her. She's this wonderful teacher.
Right. So it seems like there's for some reason this teacher wants to target your non-white looking child.
So let's back up there for a second. I was starting to think that in my head, but I didn't want to throw that out there yet.
Fair enough.
Until he decided he asked me if he could do a walkout at the school.
And that's pretty impressive for an 8th grader, yeah.
It's impressive for a 14-year-old to want to do that. It's extra impressive for him reading his student manual and knowing that he was allowed to do that. Like, it is actually codified in the LPSS student parent handbook that a student is allowed to exhibit their First Amendment rights by protest, by a peaceful protest on campus, as long as they have parental permission, which he got. This teacher gave him a major violation, which ended with him being sent to the office again and ended with this was a 3-day suspension.
Right, and when you talk to the principal or whomever about this, do you have
Actually, what happened was I responded to the teacher because I got the notice of the major violation, and I let her know that because she sent the major violation and she commented that my son took place in a protest. Now, she did it in the parentheses, protest, as if it was something that didn't mean a thing to her.
Right.
I took offense to that. So I clapped back to her because you know me, and I'm not going to take sass from anyone, especially not someone who is in charge of my son's education. But if it's in the if I interrupt a second,
if it's not in the book that says if it's in the book that they could protest, use their First Amendment ability as long as they're peaceful, as long as they get parental permission, it's not her position to determine whether or not it's a protest that's valid in her eyes. It's a if it's valid in your child's eyes, in your eyes, that's the important thing that counts, right?
Exactly. And to me, it is absolutely valid. I think that what's going on with ICE in this country is absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah, I agree.
And we can we can definitely get into all that, in a little bit, but let me finish, laying out what happened here. So I got this message from her about it. And when she used the word protest, like I said, I took offense to that. And I said back to her, I was like, first of all, it is codified in the handbook that he is allowed to do that as long as he has my permission, which he did. He went outside your classroom. He was not disturbing any other students. All he did was stand there silently, peacefully for 2 hours with a sign saying, "ICE kills innocent people."
That seems,
which is true.
That's yes, it's true. Especially, I don't know when it was in comparison to the murder of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy.
It was actually, it was the day after Alex Preddy, who is Jewish, like I am, like my son is, like a lot of people that we know are.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, he was obviously upset about that, and he asked if he could do it because he had read that other students across, and it was mostly high schoolers doing it, but he wanted to know if he could do it, and since it was in the handbook that he could, I didn't see any reason to deny him something that he wanted to do as an act of protest. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that I'm raising such a politically intelligent kid at this age to want to be involved in that. I'm proud of it. So when she used protest like that was why I was very offended. It was like, this is not a protest. This is a protest. This is him saying that what's going on right now is not right. And just because he's 14, that doesn't make it non-valid. It doesn't make it a protest. And that is when she decided to send me an article. I'm sure you know which one, that was posted by the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security, and it had a whole bunch of Minnesota, especially people who had been arrested during these ICE roundups in Minnesota, who were criminals, and she basically made it sound like all immigrants were criminals.
Right. I mean, the bottom end of the thing is child rapists, sex offenders, gang members, and violent offenders, agitators. Like, that's all in the
yes.
link. Yeah. So
yeah. But she basically was correlating all immigrants with those immigrants. And at that point, when she said that, and she insisted that it was going to be a major violation, and she was putting it to the office as such, and the office accepted it as a major violation, I took that as my son no longer being safe in that school. So I took him out. He has now been absent for 19 days in a row. I have been called into truancy. They are waiting to send it to the DA's office because I agreed to put in the application for Bessie homeschooling for right now, which we submitted the application. However, because my son is also protected by IEP status, we realized that they have to provide us an alternative education that does not involve us homeschooling. They have to give us something, including moving him to a safer school, regardless of whether that school is a full school or one that they can't, we were told that we couldn't get him into a certain school that he went to last year because it's at capacity, but capacity doesn't matter when it comes to following ADA rules.
Right.
And if we know that my son got
the IEP, though, right? He was responsible for making sure that IEPs get followed, right? The Department of Education, maybe, and then of course Linda McMahon's not going to give two shits about that, right? So, because my son also has an IEP, and my oldest one does, and I have no faith that that I can rely on the federal government anymore to help protect anybody that has an IEP, even though it's federally protected.
Yeah, and I don't either. But when she sent me that, and of course, all of the people that were on that page were all people of color. They were all people who, some of them looked like my son, some of them were of Asian descent, one of them was Cambodian, which my son is Cambodian. My son is Cambodian, Jewish, mixed, and Caucasian. So he definitely doesn't look like your typical white kid at all.
Right.
Like even the truancy officer, like, she's looking at his file and she's like, yeah, no, I can tell that he's definitely not, Yeah.
He's not like me with my completely translucent genetic background, as you've seen.
Meanwhile, me with my olive Levantine skin,
right.
Of course, my son has olive Levantine skin.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So
It's
then, has there
just
been any movement on like them having like an IEP meeting or something like that to be able to
actually, so we got the message from the IEP teacher, and they have scheduled us a meeting for next Thursday. We requested it within 8 days. They got it to us within 7 days.
Mhm.
However, Miss Keller then, which that's the truancy officer, she then emailed us back stating that as far as she knew, we were withdrawing him from Edgar Martin, and that wouldn't be. Oh shoot! I just said the school's name. I did not mean to do that.
Fair.
Okay, well, it's out there. Whatever. You know what? Don't hire racist teachers at your school if you don't want your school's name out there
Right.
at this point. I just
Didn't say the
I
teacher's
don't even
name,
care.
so so
Yeah, I mean,
enough people could probably be, sleuths or whatever, but we're fine. We're good. And I could always go
Yeah,
through and
it's-
delete that small part if you want me to. But anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
and have you considered, I know some of the people who are on your page have kind of, suggested you being proactive, maybe you contacting the DA, you going up, because, they're sitting here, they're, violating their own, charter rules or whatever when it comes to the school's charter.
Mm-hmm.
They're violating, the rules of, the Constitution, and the
Yeah,
school board and the state
and-
boards are not
what
helping.
what I'm debating is whether I want them to take me to the DA so that I can show the DA that they're the ones in the wrong, or if I want to go myself, like proactively, because I think it actually might look better on me if they take me and they're the ones that end up looking like morons for not following
It's possible. You kind of
their own
there you go.
rules.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So
but at the same time, like if it's happening here, I know it has to be happening across the United States. And basically, I want parents, especially parents, if you have children who are of mixed descent of any type of race that could possibly even remotely be considered one that looks lightly Hispanic or lightly Asian or lightly any brown or black complexion they don't want in our country right now. Your
Right.
child could be targeted, and you need to be aware of that. My child is being targeted. Yours can too.
Yep.
And I don't want to see that as a parent.
And the more we have to stand up, like I told my kids, look, if there's a protest and you want to take part in that protest, you take part in that protest, because we will have your back. We will support you. And I doubled down
Absolutely.
on that, and especially when I heard about your case. And then most importantly, one of the important things that if you're a parent of a child who is Caucasian, one of the important lessons that you can teach them is that they need to learn how to use their privilege to help support the marginalized and oppressed communities, and make sure that you stand with them, so that so it doesn't just look like it's just other people.
Absolutely.
So that they can't look at there's also white people there too protesting. And maybe, I mean, granted, Renee Good and Alex Preddy were also both white, or white appearing, because there are plenty of people that don't consider us Jews as white specifically. So but it is what it is, right?
Absolutely. And that is honestly why, when I've been, because that with my chronic illnesses, I can't get out of the house all that much, but when I can, I have been going to events to put my face out there, because even though, yes, I am not completely white, I am very, very white passing, and I do use that privilege as much as I can to help my more melanated siblings. And I'm going to do it to help my more melanated son.
Yeah. And has there been any contact with y'all contacting any sort of legal advisors, when it comes to either pro bono stuff, or trying to reach out and finding an attorney that might be able to take a case or whatever? Because I mean, there's potentially First Amendment violations here as it pertains to that, especially because it's specifically protected in the handbook, and so your child takes place in a protected activity, and now they're being punished for it. So is there any thoughts of what needs to happen if you're going to potentially take legal action against them civilly, if not necessarily criminally?
I mean, I definitely do want to pursue civil action, but I do believe I'm also going to have to find a lawyer outside of actual Lafayette Parish, but who can practice in Lafayette Parish, because I don't think any lawyers here will actually take on a case against LPSS. They're all in each other's pockets over here. It's typical Louisiana politics.
Who so you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, all that other fun stuff that we deal with
Yep.
every other day of our lives. So, but I mean, there are, again, as I said before, if you decide to put up like some sort of GoFundMe or whatever that, that you want to, have people contribute to, I'd be more than happy to put it on the show. Be more than happy to, send it out to other creators that I do know, to try and basically encourage them. Hey, look, we have a situation going on here in Louisiana that is probably happening in more places than just here, that needs to be addressed, and that we need to make racists afraid again. We need to make sure that people do not feel comfortable, as they have become comfortable, using racism, and not only that, but taking it out on kids. Like, I mean, if you were, I'm not going to say if you want to be a racist, fine, because it's not fine to be a racist. But if you want to, say racist crap, and be a racist towards adults. Don't do it towards kids. Leave it outside of your school, and try and treat all your kids. Treat all your kids as everyone else is treated. But of course, we're in the South, so I'm kind of saying that, trying to hold back laughter, because the South is.
I laughed, but like the absolute gall in sending that particular webpage to a parent was so unprofessional,
right,
and so out of line with how any teacher who is in charge of a K through 12 education should be in charge of. I do not agree with her being not only in my child's school. I don't agree that she has any business teaching students with her extremist views.
Well,
period.
Anybody dumb enough to think that information obtained from this administration is somehow factual and relevant and is going to be informational to anybody is probably absolutely too stupid to be teaching your anybody's kids, let alone yours. So,
yeah.
But Donald jumped to say he loved the poorly educated.
My kid is pretty gifted. He's very, very smart.
So yeah, I mean, and very impressive to want to sit there to go out there, have a protest, speak their minds, talk about
yeah,
hey,
and I mean, when he said he wanted to do it, like, I'm telling you, my heart swelled with pride, because I started doing the same thing at about the same age. I was raised around politics, and I have always wanted to make sure that justice was served. Like, I'm autistic myself, so like we're very big about like justice being served when it's deserved, and when it doesn't get deserved, it actually almost physically hurts us.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you might want to throw in about the case that you think is relevant, or what's going on with it that you might want to think other people should know?
I mean, right now it seems like I feel like they're trying to bully us into homeschooling so that they can just dismiss it as something they don't have to deal with, since my son will no longer be a student.
Right.
And I am not accepting that, because no, that's how they get away with it easily. And I don't think it should be that easy for them to just toss salt over their shoulder and act like it, doesn't exist.
Right. No, and yeah, but so they need to have their feet held to the fire, and action needs to be done. So that's why I'm glad to help you out, try and spread the word as much as I can. Maybe even give you a video that you can share, because I'll isolate this part and make it its own separate video and show you that link as well, just to make sure that you can have all that. So, but I did want to thank you for reaching out and coming on the show. Absolutely. And telling your story.
Just make sure people know that my if they do look for posts that I do have, they are available on my Facebook, but my Facebook is under a completely different name from my legal name. It is Beatrice Stella Luna. If anyone wants to look me up, it's public. So
And I can include that in the video description as well if you want me to, so they can come and see more of the information that you've posted publicly about it. So again, thank you so much for, I'm sorry it's happening to you, but thank you so much for coming on the show. And we'll have you back on to talk about any updates, or if you have any, like, things like other action items that you need other people to do to share information about, be more than happy to do that for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to come on anytime you want me.
All right. Thank you so much, B. And you have a great rest of your night. All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Dan.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
My
Bye.
pleasure. All right, that was B, and we are back to doing the regular part of the show. Let me just go ahead and shut this down real quick and stop recording that. And let's go ahead and get some of my screen better situated so I don't have so the windows all look right. Where is that? There we go. There's that, and then there's. No, that was not what I wanted there. Anyway, that's that. Okay. Anywho. So thank y'all for listening and taking the time to listen to that. I will share the link to the profile on top of whatever when this video goes up and goes live outside of that. So first and foremost, thank you everybody for watching Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left. That's right. We are here again live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at liberaldanradio.com or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. And of course, liberaldanradio.com is the YouTube channel. Thank you to Orville and CSL over there, who's going to bring the Hal raid over soon. And thank you to everybody watching currently over on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get down. We got the Mod Squad, Aaron and Jolie. We got Teresa, Molly. Who else is in here? Janelle, Josh, Steve from across the pond.
It's no Scottish, it's crap.
Who else? We already said Janelle. Teresa, I think we said Teresa already, but I'll say it again because, hey, why not? Catherine. I saw Petrazi down there. Let's try and get some other folks who I have had, and again, Frank as well. So thank you everybody for joining. If you haven't hit that like button, we have 19 viewers, 15 likes. Make sure to smash that like button before sharing off. And of course, remember we still have two things. If you're on Twitch, I'm gonna just give the link again. I think he's still looking for his last two individuals to follow him on Twitch, so I'm going to just post that in the chat regularly. If you do have a Twitch account, just go ahead and follow that link over there. But also the pinned link is here. I don't know. I got unpinned off of Twitch, but yeah, the pinned link is up on YouTube and Twitch for the Instagram post. At midnight Pacific time, the contest ends, and I think I'm going to need to have at least 100, if not 200, likes. So if you haven't liked that yet, and I'll remind the sparklers when they come raid as well, if you haven't liked that yet, please remember to go do so. Share it to social media. Say, hey, urgent action item, please make sure to go like this. It's for a friend of mine. He's trying to get the top 10 in the contest, which will get him $1,000. And I will absolutely give out a t-shirt or two in chat if we do get that prize money, because I will put most of that money back into the podcast. So again, everybody who has already liked it and shared it, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for doing that and helping out. We did jump about 10 earlier today when I did the super chat and house chat. So, but we still definitely need more, because I'm at 45 or something right now, and that's definitely not enough to get it done. So, anyway, who else do I need? I think I've caught up with everybody. Sue the shit out of her now. Lawsuits out the nose. What for? Noem? I don't know. So let's talk about some of the other stuff we were going to talk about today, since we've covered the stuff going on with B. Yeah, that was one thing. One of the things I did want to talk about yesterday, before talking about the stuff I want to talk about today, was simply the fact that you have the whole War Powers Act vote. The Democrats failed to pass something in the House, and then, or the Senate, I mean, and then now, of course, the House isn't going to do it, because the House is controlled by Republican sycophants who are just going to not be a check on the unconstitutional use of power that this administration has been using. So, but to me, the War Powers Act, if this is how you have to operate within the War Powers Act, the War Powers Act really doesn't have enough teeth. Because, a president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the president can, give orders. But only Congress can declare war. That's in the Constitution. Only Congress can say, yes, war is authorized. So the War Powers Act basically requires, if you do some sort of military action, you have to check back in with Congress. But if this Congress isn't going to do anything about it when they act irresponsibly, illegally, unconstitutionally, etc., then what difference does it make if he checks back in or not? If you don't have the people who have the spine in the House or the Senate to stand up to this president, then what difference does it make if he actually reports back or not? Right? So they tried to pass something in the Senate to try and, curtail the powers of the president as it pertains to this particular action. And it was no. In reality, what should be done, what has to be done, is if you want to take a particular military action, it's going to start a conflict. Like, you should be required to then say, hey, Congress, declare war for me so that I can do a conflict. We shouldn't be in a situation where you can go start dropping bombs for 60 days and then at that point have to deal with whether or not the war is legal or not. And you shouldn't have somebody in the office who's so bloodthirsty that he will start such actions without even thinking twice. The idea that Donald Trump or anybody else in his administration thinks at all is just, silly to begin with. How can you think twice if you lack the capacity to think? But, if you are a conservative, I know I'm speaking to the crowd for most of y'all, progressive, left, liberals, etc. If you are a conservative and you really do support the Constitution, and not just in the only when it's convenient way that many MAGA folks treat the Constitution, but if you're a conservative and you're sitting here and you actually support the Constitution, you should be demanding that Donald Trump go to Congress and go get the approval to have military interventions that last for more than a day. If there's I might be able to buy the argument that if there is an urgent strike that has to take place for the safety of the American people, then you should absolutely, they shouldn't necessarily have to go run to Congress for every single strike that gets done. But if you should know that the action that you're taking is going to involve multiple days of combat, then you should have to wait. You should have to go to Congress. You should have to say, hey, can we go to war, yes or no? And then if you can't, then you can't go to war. Then you just can't. You should be able to make the argument to Congress as to why the military actions are justified and constitutional. And if this is the so-called art of the deal guy, which is not, he's the art of the con guy, but if this is the art of the deal guy, then he should be able to figure out how to make that deal. He should be able to figure out how to convince Congress and at least enough people in Congress, to support it, to say, hey, this is why we need to go to war. Please grant me the permission to go to war. And if Congress then does it, then the people can't complain about Trump going to war because it's then Congress that does it. So you would think that Donald Trump would want to have that sort of insulation, except for the fact that he doesn't give a shit about legality, as it goes with everything that goes on with this administration. And, because it's not about legality of the people here, it's about their racism. They don't give a shit about the legality of their actions because they just feel that they can just go back. Tariffs are ruled unconstitutional. They're going to find a different way to put in the same tariffs. This other action is proved unconstitutional. Fine. You have Pam Bondi who said, well, if they want to put you in contempt of court, our U.S. Marshals won't arrest you. That sort of thing. They don't give a shit about it. Yeah, Kristi, and especially a first strike. Like a first strike of a war? Yeah. Look, if there's a terrorist who is, there's intel that shows a terrorist is on their way to go deliver some, horrible diseases or whatever, and they're sitting there they're driving their car down the road, and you have a lock on them, should you have to go get an act of Congress to be able to allow you to launch a drone and fire a missile at that car? No, absolutely not. That's absurd. It's ridiculous. But if you're going to start carpet bombing the entire country to take out their entire infrastructure, if you're going to be targeting, I understand that they call them terrorists. They call the Ayatollah a terrorist. And he's a terrorist supporter, absolutely. But if he's the actual leader of the country, and you're going to go try and take out a bunch of people who are part of the administration, that's not just simply a small surgical strike in the name of national security. That is an act of war. Because I guarantee you, if they did the same thing to our tyrant, that would be deemed an act of war, right? So anything that should be deemed an act of war should require Congress. Like if it was done to us and we would say that's an act of war, then you should have to go to Congress to do it to anybody else. It makes sense, right? It's a rather simple concept, right? Think, but sometimes the simple people don't understand the simple concepts. So yeah, Christine, that's imminent threat. Yes, if there's an imminent threat, deal with the imminent threat, and then, of course, still tell Congress exactly what you did to deal with the imminent threat. But there wasn't an imminent threat that required him to go bomb the Ayatollah and everybody else who got taken out in that strike. There's no imminent threat that required. There wasn't like they're going to get a nuclear bomb tomorrow. And there's information to actually tell you why. Donald Trump made it easier for Iran to get nuclear bombs because he dismantled the agreements. And again, I'm still trying to wait for these final edits to finish up on this one video that I made, and then we'll post that to Liberal Dan U, that playlist that we have that's new. Anyway, George is a different game. Imagine if Biden bombed Iran without a Congress and then said it wasn't an act of war. I don't know what would happen at that point.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
But something else that the military is doing, according to our article by Jonathan Larson, who's quoted by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. U.S. troops were told that Iran war is for Armageddon and the return of Jesus. Advocacy group reports commanders giving similar messages at more than 30 installations in every branch of the military. A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war was part of God's plan. Now, do you remember me telling you that government officials shouldn't be proselytizing, that government officials shouldn't be telling people to pray? Government officials, there should be no role in government of telling you how to, how to pray and anything religious based, and that our government should be completely secular. We talked about that the other day, right? I mean, remember that? And then, of course, this happens after I rant about that a little bit. Yes, so that Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth, according to a complaint by a non-commissioned officer. From Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military, I'm wondering if that includes Space Force, have been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. The complaints came from more than 40 different units spread across at least 30 military installations. The MRFF told the individual Monday night. The MRFF is keeping the complaints anonymous to prevent retribution by the Defense Department. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to my request for comment. Of course, the Pentagon is not going to respond at all, I'm sure, because they don't give a shit, because in order for reporters to now have access to the Pentagon, they need to agree to follow the Pentagon rules of, propaganda, right? They might not call it that, but that's what I'm calling it. One complaint identified themselves as an NCO in a unit currently outside the Iran combat zone, but in ready support status, deployable at any time. The NCO said that they were Christian and emailed the MRFF on behalf of 15 troops, including 11 Christians, 1 Muslim, and 1 Jew. The NCO wrote to the MRFF that their commander urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelations referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. This is ridiculous. This is not, again, if you want to have chaplains in the military so that the people who are in the military, who are of faith, who want to go seek religious counsel and guidance, I have no problem with that. But the people in that role should not be proselytizing to anybody else. It should not be, hey, come talk to me. It should be, I'm available if you want to talk to me, but there's no pressure to do so. And it absolutely should not happen from people who are your superior officers who are just trying to sit there and give this bullshit information and try and, rile up a religious holy war. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has enshrined evangelical Christianity at the uppermost levels of the military, airing monthly prayer meetings throughout the Pentagon. Last year, the Pentagon confirmed that Hegseth attends a weekly White House Bible study led by a preacher. I'm surprised if you bring a Bible into Trump's White House that it doesn't just set ablaze because it's such an unholy place. I mean, how can Donald Trump sit here and be somebody who urges people to be religious when he's fucked around on almost every wife, or maybe actually has fucked around on every wife that he's had, and probably other people as well. The Bible study is led by a preacher who says God commands America to support Israel. Of course, the reason that evangelical Christians support Israel is not because they love the Jewish people. It's because they want a lot of Jewish people to be there so that when the end times come, or so that the end times can be triggered, I should say, and so that more of us Jewish people can die over there. And with friends like that, who needs fucking enemies? MRFF president and founder Mikey Weinstein, a veteran of the Air Force and of the Reagan White House, told the reporter that since the U.S. and Israel has attacked Iran early Saturday morning, the MRFF has been inundated with similar complaints. These calls have one damn thing in freaking common. Our MRFF clients, service members who seek MRFF aid, report the unrestricted euphoria of their commanders and command chains as to how this new biblically sanctioned war is clearly the undeniable sign of the expeditious approach of the fundamentalist Christian end times as vividly described in the New Testament book of Revelation. Many of their commanders are especially delighted with how graphic this battle will be, zeroing in on how bloody all of this must become in order to fulfill and be in 100% accordance with fundamentalist Christian end-of-world eschatology. Now I used to listen to one of these whack job shows, not because I believed in it, but because I wanted to understand what the other side believed in, and it was one of the things that was on the air late at night when I stopped working at this, stopped my shift at this hospital. And one guy was talking about one scene in Revelations, and he was like, 1,000 to your left will die, and 10,000 more people to the right will die. But the verse says something to the effect of, but if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that you will be protected and you will be saved. So let's ignore the 1,000 for a second, and let's talk about the 10,000 for a second. So if you are going to stay alive and 10,000 people are going to die, then 1 out of every 10,000 people, so that's 1/100th of 1% of everybody is going to live, meaning that the rest of the population, those other 99 or 9,999 individuals, actually not even that, because there was a 10,000 to your right. So, but basically, so you stay alive, 10,000 die. So that's a lot of people dying for every one person living. If we did the math on the Earth at the time, I think at the time we had 6 billion on the planet, now we have 8. So 800,000 people should remain alive in order for that prophecy to come true. So that's billions and billions of people dead that these people are now urging our troops to take part in. That's a lot of fucking death and destruction and blood and murder and mayhem. Weinstein cited constitutional and uniform code of military justice prohibitions against injecting religious beliefs into official military instruction or messaging. He said any military members seeking to take advantage of their subordinates by advancing their blood-soaked Christian nationalist wet dreams upon the flames of this latest non-congressionally sanctioned attack against Iran should be swiftly and aggressively and visibly prosecuted. Amen. Hallelujah. No pun intended. Weinstein added that the MRFF receives similar complaints about Christian eschatology and of world theology whenever this shit blows up with Israel in the Middle East. After the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel, the MRFF reported a complaint about an Air Force commander who said at a briefing, the war between Israel and Hamas has all been foretold by the book of Revelations and in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and no one can do anything about that. And of course, look, that's one report under Biden versus hundreds of reports under Trump. If that tells you how big the problem is, how big the the population of the military, I guess, now is as it pertains to people who embrace the evangelical Christian eschatology. After 9/11, President George W. Bush referred to the American crusade against terrorism, invoking ancient clashes between Christian crusaders and Muslims. Bush's language was seen as potentially inspiring Muslims to take up arms if it was proclaimed itself a Christian army waging war on Islam. French Foreign Minister Hubert Védrine said one has to avoid falling into this huge trap, this monstrous trap set by Al-Qaeda with the 9/11 attacks. Bush dropped the term crusade. So, as we all know, Bush, who may have seemed dumb at the time, comparatively to Trump, is a fucking brain surgeon. While Christian nationalism has simmered in the military for decades, Hegseth has ended even the pretense of official intolerance for it. Trump, too, has cast himself as a champion of Christian exceptionalism, embedding it within divisions of the executive branch. As I revealed last year, Hegseth sponsors weekly White House Bible studies that preach support for Israel. Some Christians claim biblical prophecy requires Israel to exist for Jesus to return, but Hegseth's Bible study leader, preacher Ralph Drollinger, teaches the reason to support Israel is that God still blesses Israel's allies and curses Israel's enemies, even though Israel killed Jesus. This mirrors the historic root of anti-Semitism and has been rejected by every major religion. So yes, they're still using the whole we done killed Jesus lie. After Israel's attack on Iran, Drollinger dedicated 2 weeks of lessons to preaching support for Israel. His lessons went out to White House cabinet members and members of Congress, even as Israel was lobbying for U.S. engagement. Hegseth also has initiated monthly prayer sessions, most recently featuring Doug Wilson, far-right Christian nationalist. He has also brought in other preachers from his personal circle, rejecting any attempt at making the meetings ecumenical. Hegseth himself also speaks at these meetings, proselytizing his personal religious beliefs. This is, I think, exactly where we need to be as a nation at this moment, he said in a prayer on bended knee, recognizing the providence of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. While MRFF historically has been able to get the Pentagon to swat down Christian incursions in the military, the Trump administration is openly disdainful of military norms and law. It remains to be seen whether and how wholesale Christianization of the Iran war will be opposed by officials inside the Pentagon or political and legal advocates for secular values outside of it. This is the NCO email to the MRFF as redacted by them from an active military NCO and MRFF client. Subject, Unit Combat Readiness Briefing and Armageddon. Date, March 2nd, 2026 at 1:02 p.m. MST. To Information Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein, thank you for taking my calls and the calls of some of my colleagues as to what happened earlier this morning with our combat unit. Please protect my identity and the identities of those I'm speaking for as we discussed. Our unit is not currently in the combat zone, AOR, regarding Iranian attacks, but we are in a ready support function where we could be deployed at any moment to join and augment combat operations. I'm an NCO. Of a particular rank that was withheld in our unit. The morning our commander opened up the combat readiness status by urging us to not be afraid as to what is happening with our combat operations in Iran right now. He urged us to tell our troops that this is all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations in the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and its imminent return of Jesus Christ. He said that the President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark the return to earth. He had a very big grin on his face, and when he said all this, which made his message seem even more crazy, our commander would probably be described as a Christian first supporter. He has been this way for a very long time and makes it clear that he desires all of us under him to become just like him as a Christian. But what he did this morning was so toxic and over the line, it was shocked by many of us in attendance at the Ops Readiness Briefing. Besides myself, I am reaching out to MRFF on behalf of 15 fellow troops. I know you asked me about the religious views of our group who has requested help from the MRFF. I can only tell you that I am Christian, and at least 10 of the others are also Christian. One is Jewish, one is Muslim. I don't know the religious or non-religious status of the other three at this time. I and my fellow troops know that this is completely wrong to have to suffer through this. What our commander said today, it is not just the separation of church and state. It is the fact that our commander feels as though he is fully supported and justified by the entire combat unit's name withheld chain of command to inflict his Armageddon views on our attack on Iran. Those of us beneath him in the chain of command, I hope by sending this email, blah, 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 blah. So, pretty much. So, yeah, this is absolutely frightening that we have people in the military saying that Donald Trump is anointed by the guy who grabs people by the pussy is the one that God appointed to bring back the return of Jesus Christ? Really? I mean, I know Jesus Christ, I know he hung out with, you know, the prostitutes and people or whatever, you know, that supposedly or whatever. Again, I'm Jewish, so what do I know? Probably know a little more than a lot of these Christians, though. That's for damn sure. But you know, the fact that I don't think Jesus wanted to hang out with the rapists or the sexual abusers or anybody else of that ilk. Would probably tell you to not do that. Jesus would tell you what to poke both of your eyes out if a woman's dress makes you want to sin. You know, he would blame the sinner of looking at somebody like that and say, look, if you can't control yourself, then you should poke your own eyes out, right? So, see, 250 kilo. Hey, what's going on? Mental medical meets cognitive dissonance. Religion, leave me out of your delusions. WCN, God works in mysterious ways, fixes it all. Hasn't worked in enough of a mysterious way to fix our biggest problem that we have currently. All hell the mighty blood clot. So anyway, yeah, Jesus smote a fig tree. What did the fig tree ever do to Jesus? Anyway, whatchamacallit? Frank Stoller, devil knows the scriptures, allegedly. I don't know, but I learned it from somebody who was pretty damn demonic, I would say, because he's supporting all of those people dying in the name of Jesus, right? So, Amy Pike, senators need to start talking to the fired officers to get them ready to serve again, to take place of religious nut jobs. Absolutely. That would be a good place to start, or one of the many places that we need to start. But of course, the time we needed to start was, of course, yesterday, or the day before, or the day before that. But since we haven't started at that point yet, it needs to go now. Do it now. Before we go to the next points of the show, I do want to make a point to thank all of the people who support Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Left, That's Right, including our patrons, which includes Arizona Sunflowers, Robert Reynolds, Jolie, Aaron, and my friend Cesar. Thank you all for supporting Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, That's Right. Thank you so much for it. And we hope if you want to support the show on a monthly basis, you can also become a Liberal Dan patron. Go to patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you there. You could also support the show by Venmoing Liberal Dan on Venmo with the QR code. You can go to buymecoffee.com/liberaldanradio, or you can just simply go to liberaldan.com and click the Buy Me Cider button, and that will also get you there for a one-time contribution. Of course, the Venmo contribution is if you do friends and family, you're not buying anything, so it doesn't incur any fees. But you can also do bits over on Twitch. You can, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe over there for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Otherwise, you can pay the standard amount. You can buy membership and become a Liberal Danimal on YouTube. You can gift memberships on YouTube as well. Help other people become Liberal Danimals. Super chats, super stickers, etc. If you want to say something in bold, bright letters, you can do so with the super chats. But the most important thing to do is to go comment on videos, like, share, help the algorithm. Al Gore needs more rhythm. And you could also, number one, before midnight tonight, if you haven't already done so, go to the Instagram post linked to the top of both of the chats and like that video and share it with your friends and say, hey, please like this video. We're trying to get this to win a contest. It probably only needs about 200 likes at this point, so just go ahead and hit that button. Al Gore certainly needs more rhythm. I did want to show something that I was really thought was neat. Let me pull this up real quick before we go to our next subject, because I don't know if you have noticed it. I don't know how many people might have noticed it yet or whatever. Let's go to my studio. Let's go to my content. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Trying to find videos, and of course now it's for some reason taking forever. I hope this doesn't make me have to jump off. Nope, it hasn't done that yet. So it's a very short video that I made. Another thing using AI. Let's go ahead and so if you're familiar with the shirt that I made, this is not even the image on the shirt. The image on the shirt is somewhere like at some later point in this, but the AI was smart enough to turn this into an image, and here's the cute little image that was made for me by the Agent Opus agent that I've been using to do some of my new videos. Doesn't have audio, but I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, so there's that. You know, just lots of fun little things. Oh, there we go. So I thought that was kind of neat and something I played around with, and I was happy that I actually was able to get it done. Only has 7 views. I'm really shocked that the If Trump Can't See It video has over 1,000 at this point. 1,157 views for If Trump Can't See It. Which one?
If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. Object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist.
And of course, one of the big news today is that we had, after we talked yesterday about Kennedy's grilling, and I'm wondering if it's John Kennedy's grilling in and of itself that made Trump have to take action, because I mean, she made Trump look really bad, and that's hard to do. It's hard to make Donald Trump look bad when he already looks like a giant piece of crap. But again, President Trump said Thursday Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem would leave her role as head of DHS. Of course, she's not completely fired from the military, mind you. She is now going to be appointed as a special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. But of course, this means that he's no longer going to be there. Noem faced scrutiny and intense questioning about the fatal shootings and deaths or whatever. John Kennedy, who had a problem with the $200 million campaign ad. And of course, that went to, as we heard, to a company that was started 8 days before they got the funds, which makes you question who was really behind that, who was running that new group or whatever. It's, you know, it's one of the problems with corporations. Like you could be running one corporation that runs ads for her, you know, gubernatorial stuff when she was governor, and then you could start a whole nother one to make it like, oh, this is a brand new company. It's not the same people. It's just, you know, the same people owning it or whatever. So Trump's Thursday removal also comes as the country faces a partial government shutdown. And I guess also you had the issue of Tillis basically saying, if you're not gone, I'm going to have a problem with this. And of course, who else goes along with her? Not shockingly enough, despite the fact that Kristi Noem thanked her husband for being there at the hearings for Congress this week. Lewandowski is also going to leave as well. Her oft-rumored boyfriend, fuck buddy, whatever you want to call what he is and what they had. They allegedly are having a relationship. Of course, she calls it ridiculous, but enough. Well, other people have suggested other things that are much worse, right? So, rather be known as somebody who had an affair on their spouse than somebody who murdered their puppy. And also, I guess, the goat too, right? And then what the hell is this whole thing called the Shield of the Americas now that she's now in charge of? The regional coalition of countries in Latin America will work together on an ideology and policy initiatives that will help secure the Western Hemisphere, according to the White House. The Shield of the Americas will be guided in part by the president's foreign policy of the Monroe Doctrine, fashioned after the Monroe Doctrine. The administration has been described the doctrine as enlisting established friends in the Western Hemisphere to pursue U.S. aims and expanding ties by cultivating and strengthening new partners. Since Trump returned to office, he directed the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the other name, announced plans to take back the Panama Canal, pushed efforts to acquire Greenland and make Canada, of course, the 51st state. Summit of making the Shield of Americas official is set to take place this weekend in Miami and may largely focus on counterterrorism measures, blah, blah, blah. What countries will Noem work with? Noem will work with foreign leaders in both North and South America. The Trump administration has maintained a heavy interest in connecting with Latin American leaders to combat human smuggling, drug trafficking, and undocumented immigration. 13 heads of Latin American countries are expected to be present. Hopefully they don't bring their puppies along with them, because those puppies will be in imminent danger if they get anywhere near Kristi Noem and her dog murderous ways. And then Senator Markwayne Mullin is expected to succeed Noem as DHS Secretary on March 31st, but of course will need to be confirmed. Will that happen? I don't know. With people like Tillis and Kennedy, they might ask some tough questions of the Oklahoma senator. Of course, Markwayne Mullin is known for also being a cage fighter in USC or whatever, but also was seen cowering during the Jan 6th attack on the Capitol. So he didn't seem that brave that day, right? Mr. I'm a badass who threatened to get into a fight with somebody in the middle of a hearing when Bernie Sanders was the head of the committee, and Bernie was like, you are a senator, sit down, you shouldn't be acting like this, sit down, senator, we should not be behaving this way, we should have some decorum in the Senate chamber. That's maybe my first time ever trying to do a Bernie Sanders imitation, so I apologize if it's terrible. But yeah, so of course, in order to stop him from fighting, 70-something-year-old Bernie Sanders got the MMA fighter to sit his ass down. So I don't know what that says about how dangerous or tough he might be, but I have no faith in anybody that Donald Trump appoints to Homeland Security is going to be any different or be any better or be any safer for American citizens, for legal residents, and even for non-legal residents, because they have a duty to not murder people who are non-legal residents as well. Even if they're here in violation of our laws, even if they're going to be deported, they should be treated like human fucking beings. And I understand they don't consider these folks to be humans. They treat them as subhuman because that's how they view them. So of course, that's the bullshit you have to deal with when you elect a racist shitbag president. But anyway, Amy Pike says that's a good Bernie. Thank you, appreciate it. Do your best, Larry David. Close enough. Yeah, exactly. Larry David, does a great Bernie Sanders, but I think that was kind of me doing his. Like, when I would do imitations of George H.W. Bush, my imitation of George W. Bush wasn't an imitation of Bush; it was an imitation of Dana Carvey. Doing was it read my lips, no new taxes or whatever. But again, it's been forever since I've actually done that imitation, so I'm very rusty on that one. But it was more of a not gun debt. That was more of a Dana Carvey type of imitation of that. So it's imitation of an imitation. So it's not as good as the other one. Not gun debt. Thank you, the Rantler. I think you said that, you typed that as just as you probably were hearing it. So anyway, Dean just had the sneezing fit from hell. Lafayette, as we would say in Hebrew, Gesundheit, yada yada. So, Bobble says, Dan said duty. Yeah, he said duty. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. The 1% of the 1% of the 1%. There you go. Hey, CSL and the House Sparks Raid. We're just sitting here ending up our conversation about the fact that Kristi Noem got fired from the DHS as being head of Homeland Security. Of course, she isn't fired from the federal government. She's not fired from there. She's still going to be the special envoy to the American, whatever, what is it called again? I can't even get the name straight of this bullshit name. The Shield of the Americas. Like, I'm surprised they haven't just used, like, the Captain American shield or whatever. But, again, shout out, hello to all of the sparklers out there. Appreciate y'all for rating. Thank you so very much. Just two things that I would ask from you. Does Noem keep her jet? I don't know. Maybe she'll get to use the one that Kash Patel used to go run out to the Olympics, to the Winter Olympics or whatever. So, welcome to the 60 members who are joining us from on Twitch over there, and of course all of the other folks who are joining us on YouTube as well. We have currently 96 who are on there. But two just things that I want to ask you to do on both sides. If you have Twitch, click on the link. That's my son Henry's Twitch account, and make sure that you can follow him, as well. He's just trying to become affiliate. He just turned 13 and he wants to be an affiliate and start gaming or whatever. No, YouTube, I am not going to insert ads as soon as I have a whole bunch of people coming in my show. What kind of moron do you take me for, YouTube? Anyway, hey Cosmic Rose, hey Catbird, good to see you. Spherical Man, good to see you as well. But on the top of both chats, on both Twitch and YouTube chats, I have an Instagram post until at 12 midnight Pacific time tonight. The contest is over. I need to get at least 100, if not more, if not more, likes on that video. So if you haven't liked that video yet, please make sure to do so. Even if you haven't downloaded Instagram yet, if you have a Meta account, just create your Instagram account, go like that one as well, because it will help me. It'll give me $1,000 if I get the top 10. So that's one of the best things and easiest things and free things you could do to help me. And if it happens tonight, if the sparklers push me over the top, maybe I'll give Hal another super chat as well, thanking him for that. So appreciate you for doing that as well. Let's see. Yeah, so if you missed it at the beginning of the show, just kind of a show recap. Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays here at liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. We air right after Hal, or sometimes there's a little bit of overlap, but, it happens. And as Trump says,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. All sorts of ways to support the show. There's tons of videos out there. We have videos. We have... I've created original Liberal Dan Radio music, and I've created videos for that music, and those are available up on the show, on the YouTube page of the show. Lots of different ways, things that are coming our way, good things, and we have a fun bit that we're going to try to do with another creator. That's going to be a little more of kind of like a game that's political. We have more, even-toned, non-ranting type videos. We do have Fat Man Rant videos. We have a playlist on unraveling toxic masculinity, a playlist on coming to terms with activism. That playlist, we talk about terms that activists will talk about that some people have, like, oh, why are you saying that? And then we explain why you shouldn't be as ridiculous when it comes to that. Anyway, lots of different content here on Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Left, that's right. And of course, again, when we air live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we also, we have those bits all chopped up into small little, small digestible clips that you can then go watch the full show on and, get little tastes of Liberal Dan Radio. And the best thing you can do, of course, is to, again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Like the video. Oh, we got 224. Man, if all of the viewers right now, if all of y'all who are watching on YouTube, click that Instagram button and just like or click the Instagram link that's pinned to the top of this chat, if every one of y'all did that, I would win this contest. And so, please, I'm begging you, click that link. And also, smash the like button as well to help the algorithm, because as we say, Al Gore needs more rhythm. I know Hal likes to talk about AI. We played this just a little bit earlier, just because we did play this earlier just for the other people. But I have a T-shirt that I made that I wanted to melt ice, and so I turned that little individual image into a little animated video of antifreeze melting ice and hashtag melt ice. So there you go. That little video is also available on liberaldanradio.com, and also there is a shirt that goes with it as well that you can link to from the video as well, with the Liberal Dan Radio store, which is here if you want to see it. That's a very long link. Never mind. That is not what I wanted to clip. Anyway, it's only 5 more hours, Cosmic Rose, for that to happen. So I'm really asking and begging and pleading for your help. Hey, Right Said Rob, good to see you. Hey, Trisha. Hey, Pizza Dude, good to see you as well. Shouts out to Joel the Fish. Ali Osher, thank you for the bits. Let's see. Fun fact from Steve. First episode was the day Kennedy was shot, so no one saw it. They repeated it the next week, and it began. Dean says, I saw this today, Dan Clever. Thank you so much. Corey Feldman, greater than Corey Lewandowski in terms of dancing. I would agree with that. Anyway, it's the Liberal Dan theme song. Yes, 250 comb. It's the Liberal Dan Radio theme song. It's the pinned, if you just go to Liberal Dan Radio on Instagram, it is the only pinned post. Because I post a lot of videos to Instagram now that I use the AI tool to take all my large shows and chop it up into smaller ones. So I do that, first of all. But then, so I wanted to make sure that video didn't get lost, so I made sure to pin it to make sure we didn't lose it. And so, but the link should go directly to the Liberal Dan Radio theme song. So, 47 hearts as of now. Yes, I think, and I've counted, because some of the videos, people have uploaded the videos to Twitter, some of the people have uploaded the videos to Instagram, and I counted more than 10 videos with more than 100 likes, and that's the metric. More likes, the top 10 videos with likes, they get they get it. They will get the prize, the $1,000 prize. So all I'm asking for is this: to go click two things, click a link, click a button, and hit that like button if you haven't already done so, and it would be awesome. Thank you so very much. Let's see. The link to Dan's Instagram isn't working for. That's interesting. Let me see. No, it pulled up for me. But I can just share it again in the chats if you want. But again, if you go to... Thank you, Dancing Dog, for the 100 bits. Appreciate you. But if you just go to Instagram and... if you go to Instagram yourself, you can see it. But let's... If you want to see the video, the little theme song or whatever... come on, why is this being stupid? And actually, the non-watermarked version will come up. I might actually retool it a little bit once it's over. But how can you get rid of the... How can you get rid of the little side comment stuff instead of that? I mean, I really don't want to see the side comments, but... anyway, let's go ahead and... We'll go ahead and play it anyway still. Just so everybody can see what it is.
Proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite, liberal Dan radio, talk on the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water, they're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals, the swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite, liberal Dan radio, talk comes to left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason, unmasking hypocrisy. The truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. 'Cause liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite, liberal Dan radio, talk on the left, that's right. Liberal Dan radio, talk from the left, that's right.
Playing again. It's playing again. Don't need to play it again. But yes, Dana Bales. It's Dana Moles, not Dana Bales. Trisha. But anyway, thank you. But yeah, it's and that's like that was kind of my first attempt. There's some other videos that are really good as well. If I don't know if I want to put y'all through watching any of the other videos again that I've made, but they're all available. All the ones I've made so far are available on liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel. Go check those out. I have the Had Biden Done It, baby incubators, a hoax, you know, the If Trump Can't See It. There's the one I made this weekend over the declaration of war. And there's the other one where somebody from the Twitch chat the other day, last week I think it was, I think it was last week, where they basically said, I'd love to see a song about Trump saying that all these things that you've never seen or that nobody's ever knew about this, that, the other. And then the basic premise is, we knew about it. So I made a video about that as well. That premiered Monday. So yeah, it's pretty neat, the tools you can do with AI. I mean, if people only did that with AI, then maybe it wouldn't be such a problem. But yes, thank you for the follow as well. Appreciate you over there for following me on Twitch. What else do we want to talk about today? Papa Jeff USA, that's who liked me. Thank you so much. That's who followed. But yeah, there's some, there's always ethical concerns to deal with anything that comes around. Like when it comes to artificial intelligence, there are ethical concerns that you do have to deal with. But again, we always talk about, there's ethical concerns with almost anything that happens under capitalism. Like, I'm one of the people who believes there is no real ethical consumption under capitalism because, especially in today's society and how it works. So if you can't sit here and try and say, oh, we can't use this at all because how people can be unethical, and then sit here and, you're still using your gasoline, you're still driving your vehicles, you're still using cell phones that have links to horrible worker behavior in these other countries. So there's plenty of bad things you could put at anything. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we shouldn't try and regulate these things. We shouldn't try and make sure that these data centers that pop out aren't having adverse effects on the environment, that they aren't having adverse effects on the price of electricity to the people around them, that they aren't taking away all the water to use. Like, for example, they're opening one up here in Louisiana, or down here in Louisiana, but kind of northern Louisiana. In my opinion, they should have made it closer to the Mississippi River. They should have required them to have to use solar and other forms of electricity that are renewable, so they're not taking energy. They should have been also forced to maybe have some solar programs where the people around them can also get solar to kind of help them with their costs and with the help of and to help create more and more energy. And again, they should have to use the water from the Mississippi River for any cooling or whatever, including, cleaning it up and processing or whatever, so you're not taking the water from anybody else as well. So you're not operating under like the Nestle company's CEO's argument that said that people don't have the right to free drinking water or whatever. So, but anyway, so I mean, yeah, I'm all for sterner, harsher regulations on these companies to make sure that they're doing it in a more sustainable way that doesn't, become a drain on our power grid, that doesn't become a drain on the water supply, etc. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and suggest that we throw the baby out of the bathwater. We should be able to have tools, and there are, some people complain, oh, it's taking away from the art of other people or whatever. People mimic people all the time, especially when it comes to parody. And there's also the simple issue of the fact that there are some people who are now able to create art who weren't able to do so because those people had disabilities that might have prevented them from putting their artistic thoughts onto any sort of media. And now those people who are able to do that and can utilize AI to get that done. So to suggest that they shouldn't have the ability, to some people, rings as ableism. So, wait, Frank Stoller, China building one in the ocean? That might be the best way to cool it, right? Stick it in the middle of the ocean. All right, we should do the Sanders moratorium. I'm not sure about that. Also, no problem with let's see, Rob, big time true. Also, no problem with protesting data centers. Instagram, Twitch almost glitched. I clipped your Instagram too. Thank you. Appreciate you for the clipping. But thank you also, Trisha, for you just say you don't do Instagram, but I did give you a like. You're up to 49. Come on, Danimals unite. Yes. Anyway. Near the shore of the ocean works. That's what I was saying, because we're on the Mississippi. We're on the mighty Mississippi. But it's funny, because I actually found out the other day that Mississippi is actually, I think, a word. I forget which tribe it's from, but it actually means river. So when you say Mississippi River, it's kind of like saying the Sahara Desert. Sahara means desert. So saying Sahara Desert is saying the desert. Or like the Gobi Desert or Mojave Desert. That's just desert. So saying Mississippi River is saying river. Or like the craziest one out there, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which is the Angels of Anaheim. So let's see, or Broomer, 40% of current Spotify uploads are AI and commercial music is over as we knew it. Hey, the 4 of the songs are available, not the Liberal Dan Radio theme song, but 4 of the songs I actually of mine are up on Spotify. I need to work on getting the other 2 up there as well. Speaking of that. We need more beavers. That reminds me of a video that I had to pop up in my memories that I had made. There was some legislator that wanted to craft some legislation preventing us from eating beavers, and there was just lots of fun comments to be made on that one, about whether or not we should be eating beavers, and there was lots of very good lines to use.
Oh my.
Yeah. Way means water in New Zealand. Interesting. The Napali Cliffs coastline on Kauai means the cliffs coastline. That's hilarious. That is rather funny. So, what else? Let's see. So we already talked about that. We already talked about. Where's the? I'm trying to find all of my. I have all these windows open all over the place. But yeah, if you missed it earlier, because you're at Hal's, we did talk a little bit earlier about an example of an individual who's a friend of mine. Their name is B. Their son was being bullied by a teacher at school, and then they got punished. The son got punished for having a peaceful protest for 2 hours outside of the school, and risking losing access to the school or being punished or whatever, and basically making the school not a safe place. So we're going to put that entire video. We're not going to have AI cut it up. We're going to have that entire video up later after the show as well. Right, said Rob. They're saying the data center will use 3 times more electricity than New Orleans, which is exactly why we need to make sure to do things to make sure that it's not an adverse effect on the people's power grid that are up there. I mean, it's not going to affect our power grid, most likely, because it's up north and up northern Louisiana. It's Yankee land, Louisiana, because there are people who are silly in Louisiana who think that anything north of Interstate 10 is a Yankee, or any one north of Interstate 10 is a Yankey. Hey, Adam Westish, good to see you. Good to see you around. Let's see, what else? Baltimore's beer has water in it. I don't know what that was for, whatever. Have I ever watched the Bigfoot vlogs on YouTube? I don't think I have gone down that rabbit hole yet. Let's see, Frank Solar says, some AI tunage is pretty amazing. And all of Liberal Dan Radio's AI music is pretty amazing, I would say, right? But again, we'll just continually share this in the chat for the people. For some reason, the pinned post doesn't seem to be working, so we'll just continue posting the link down here as well. What's up, Bam Rex? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. BuzzFeed was enough of a rabbit hole, yeah. What else do we want to talk about, really? I don't really know. I covered a whole shit ton yesterday. We went super longer than I anticipated going to yesterday, but what I can do, what I will consider doing at this point, is opening up the phone line. So let's go ahead, and I think I saw Big Hook in here. But you don't have to be Big Hook to call in. You can call in the Liberal Dan Radio phone lines just by dialing 562-LIB-DAN1, 562-LIB-DAN1, 562-542-3261 if you want to call. We do have some rules about calling in. Don't be a shithead, obviously. Don't be racist or sexist or bigoted, anti-Semitic or whatever. Don't do anything that's going to make me want to kick you off immediately. And if for some reason somebody in the chat wants to hear no more of you before I've hung up on you, they can, as long as there's a combination of people that super chat $30 or more to hang up on a person, as long as they've gone 5 minutes, they get hung up on. I'm still going to make sure they have 5 minutes, but after 5 minutes, you can the $30 rule will take effect, and if you've already contributed the $30, the phone call will end at that point. So let's see. Big Hookers. Anybody else want to call in and vet their anger on the Trump administration? I mean, please, everybody's more than welcome. Nobody has utilized the ability to send a text message also. If you want to leave me a voicemail off hours, and or if you want to send me a text message asking a question, having me address something, more than happy to. If you have an idea for something, like I have this whole new bit as it pertains to Liberal Dan U that we're dealing with, that if for some reason I can't upload the version I want to upload because it won't update the files, I'll just probably end up uploading it anyway. That being said, if you have a topic that you feel needs to be addressed in like a 2-3 minute video that kind of gives a calmly presented liberal Dan AI voice type thing. There's 2 examples up there right now that I've already published, and I want to publish more. If you have any ideas of things that you might want me to cover, just you can send me an email at liberaldanradio@gmail.com, or you could also just send me a text message on 562-542-3261 and let me know, what it is that you would like to see me talk about on those things on Liberal Dan U. Jolie the other day was like, I would like to see one on this particular subject, and then in our kind of mod chat, and within an hour it was ready to go. That's how effective and easy AI tools make things for me to start growing the channel. It's one of the reasons I went from like 5,000 views every month to over 80,000 views a month, is because I've been able to use AI to get some of these videos cut up. So, anyway, Cosmic Rose, voting machines need attention. They're owned by the GOP. And of course, yes, but of course the GOP and the Republicans, the MAGA types, are going to say that we need to go to paper ballots and with hand counting of paper ballots, because they don't trust the voting machines, because they want to make this big deal about the voting machines. But then everybody on the local level who are Republicans continue to use these voting machines. And I have a problem with hand-counted ballots and paper ballots themselves, because, who's to stop them from saying, oh, here's a nice big wad of paper ballots in this Democratic district that we've just gerrymandered, throw it in the trash. Whereas if you had computer ballots with receipts, you'd be able to take, the amount that was in the hard drive of the machine, of the voting machine, and then compare it to a printed out receipt that you put into a hopper, make sure that the results from the machine match the results from the hard copies as sort of an audit, and then you'd be able to have the best of what both worlds might want. Quicker, faster tabulation of ballots via an automatic computer that just can upload the data all at once, but also the ability to verify that machine's count with a hard paper count as well. But, the people that are crying about voting machine integrity and election integrity will never actually want to do that, because that's not their goal. Their goal isn't actually to make elections have more integrity. Their goal is to make elections less accessible to people who are not old white men. So, Adam Westitch, every ballot is sacred. Didn't Monty Python sing about that? Every ballot is sacred. Every ballot is great. If a ballot is wasted, God gets quite irate. Anyway, thank you. Great name for a band, the Dangling Chads. Yeah. Although that also makes me want to go, oh my. Anyway, I have to make sure to unmute myself before doing that, because, I have that. Thank you, Alyosha, for the 12 bits. Was that for my wonderful singing? Perfect pitch. Yes. Yeah. And we got Big Hook calling in. Welcome, Big Hook. Thank you for calling the show. Appreciate you. How's your leg?
Oh, not too bad. It's been quite the week so far, hey? We went to war.
We satisfied McCain's goal of what McCain wanted to do, right? Remember when McCain was like, bomb, 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 Iran, back in 2008. He was saying that. So I guess even though Trump insulted McCain and said he wasn't a war hero because he got captured and all that other stuff, maybe McCain is cheering from his grave that we finally bombed Iran.
Yeah, but the thing is that Trump has basically thrown the world into decline, right? I mean, the thing is that not only does the war cost money, but now Iran is basically bombing everybody else around them. Those 2 things there that cost $1 billion each for the radar systems in other countries there. They took out with 2 $20,000 drones, $2 billion gone just like that for the cost of $40,000, and rumor has it that Iran has like 80,000 of those just stockpiled waiting, and they can produce upwards of 100 a day. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, there's no exit plan. There's nothing that makes any sense. He basically executed everybody that was supposed to be acceptable via his bombing. I mean, Netanyahu is laughing because he found the one and only idiot president that was willing to light the world on fire, so that way he could avoid justice from the courts in his own country by saying, "Oh, we have to stay at war. I can't be away from the switch at any point in time now because." I just started a war with Iran, and they're the ones that say death to Israel and the West, and so there's nobody better at creating chaos than me. So what do we do? You have to stay with the agent of chaos. I mean, anything else would be silly. I mean,
right.
I don't get it. This is the thing that bugs me so much about Republicans. They love chaos. They think, oh, well, if something's getting broke, then something better will come along. And it's like, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Don't do this stupid stuff. I mean, that's just it.
Right.
People are going to be upset no matter what. But you know what? I mean, you stick with what works. And that's just it. Diplomacy was working for a long time. They were on the verge. From my understanding of it, the Oman guy, the diplomat who was speaking on behalf of Iran, was saying that Iran was willing to actually hand over the enriched uranium that they already had that they felt was a threat. And instead, he decided, oh, yeah, no, we're going to bomb, and we're going to do this, and we're going to throw the whole world into turmoil. I mean, the gas prices here have already jumped almost 20 cents per liter here in Vancouver because of that nonsense that he just decided he had to do on a whim because, he can't handle the heat from the Epstein files. I mean, we thought that Nixon was bad, but Trump has got to be trying to one up him by 10 times the amount of scandal as well as wars and everything else that he has started. I mean, that's just it. He is an existential threat to democracy as well as the people of the United States because he doesn't have a line in the sand that he won't cross. Every time you think he can't possibly get any worse, he finds a way to make things worse. And, and he's basically taken away all the trust and everything that the allies have. And they will question any time the U.S. goes out and does anything because they'll say, what are you trying to do? What's your thing? You don't tell us any of this shit. You don't allow anybody to make an argument against your actions. You just do shit on impulse without any accountability or responsibility to all the other people that are going to be affected by your actions. And that's just it. As far as I'm concerned, he should get his ass impeached and put before the Hague along with Netanyahu and and face people that they've through their criminal actions have killed. I mean, that's just it. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, the odds of Donald Trump being dragged in front of the Hague is it's probably more likely that the clot will act sooner. So
I know, and that's just it. But that's the thing
clot.
too. But that's just it. He's at a crossroads where he's got nothing to lose because he knows that eventually he's going to die sooner rather than later. So he's just like the evil child in the corner, twiddling his thumbs and plotting and planning. I mean, he's basically the same version of Osama bin Laden, stuck in a cave somewhere, dreaming up evil shit to do that you can't defend against, whether it be crashing planes into buildings or whatnot. And that's the other thing. What do we call the next one? We can't call it 9/11 again, but it'll be Trump's a Trump revenge plot against the U.S.
We'll find a date or whatever that falls on. I'm sure whatever date it is, they'll probably do it, whatever. But anyway, I do have bad news. There was a $30
There was a $30. Yeah.
You know who.
And let me guess, it was Chad.
Exactly.
Probably.
So, anyway.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want to hear what the truth is, and that's just it,
but it had the policy for everybody, so if he does call in, you can do the same.
Okay, well that's fine. Let's see if he will call in and rebut anything that I've said anyway. So. But we also
have the ability for everybody to call in. But again, love you, man. Appreciate you calling in, and of course you can always be free to call back on Monday as well. So thank you so much. Have a great one, man.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right, so that was Big Hook from the Great White North, and of course, Chad super chatted us $30. I verified that the $30 was for the boot, and in fact it was. So the dangling Chad went ahead and gave us the provider of some good stuff. Also provided us the $30, so we could move on, I guess, to the next caller who wants to call in. So if you are a caller and you want to call in, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261 is the Liberal Dan Radio hotline. So please make sure to give us a call and let us know what you're thinking. If you have any complaints to make, if you want to argue with me, you want to praise me, you want to talk about how great the AI is, you want to urge people to hit that like button on that Instagram video to get me up to 200 views or whatever, to make sure that I can win $1,000 in a contest for creating the Liberal Dan Radio theme song, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. So, but anyway, sorry, no convincing me that Osama bin Laden had anything to do with 9/11 with all the research I've done. James, are you one of the truthers? Like, do you believe it was an inside job or whatever? I think the best argument against 9/11 being an inside job, or at least the best argument that George W. Bush wasn't behind 9/11, was because it actually worked and they actually were able to pull it off. Where if George Bush was behind it, it wouldn't have worked. But yeah. 250 kilo. Where will Trump shit next? I don't know. It'll probably be in his underwear somewhere in his pants, but I don't know the location of where that might happen. Probably be behind the Resolute desk. Maybe it'll be behind the, maybe it'll be at Camp David. Maybe he'll have to, get new flushers, get new toilets, and wherever he's located. Mar-a-Lago. He puts the go in Mar-a-Lago, I guess, right? Jolie, you know what I wonder? How do people that voted for Trump sleep at night knowing that their vote is directly responsible for the deaths of 160 children amongst thousands of others? But again, those are Iranian children, and those many of the people who voted for Donald Trump, I'm not going to say all, I'm not going to even say most, but many of the people that voted for Donald Trump are people who don't view those people as human, don't view them. They just say that they would probably make the argument that those people are future terrorists one day, so we're taking them out when they're young, right? They'll find some excuse. They'll find any excuse to justify whatever it is that Donald Trump is doing. Hell, even Chad the other day, and then Chad was talking about the women who will be benefiting from the elimination of the Ayatollah in Iran, and I'm like, there's no evidence that this has actually improved their lives. You actually have to see that their lives are going to be improved, and it didn't improve the lives of all of the children who have died already, because those people are what? Dead. So Dean Baker, Trump dingleberries 200. Are you saying you're taking the category of Trump dingleberries for 200, Alex? Is that what you're doing? That's what they said about Palestinians. Well, exactly. And I'm going from their arguments. I listen to what conservatives say, so you don't have to do it as much. But yeah, I mean, they'll sit here and applaud it. They'll criticize Biden for being a warmonger. They'll criticize Democrats for starting wars or whatever. But then whenever it is Donald Trump starts a war, they'll sit there and they'll be critical of him because.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be.
So anyway, but again, 562-LibDan1, 562-LibDan1, 562-542-3261 is the number to call in if you want to chat with me, want to let me know. And of course, the same deal goes for anybody. If somebody, as long as you get 5 minutes on the air with me, if somebody pays $30, this is kind of the my dude, the Tommy rule that we've put into play as just a way to, A, drive more engagement with the channel, and B, give y'all a little bit of a say as to how much money you want to throw down and support the show with. Because of course the most important thing is helping the algorithm. Because again, Al Gore needs more rhythm. I'll play this. Let's just go ahead and again, this is before we will start this. I have changes that I want to make, and I'll show you the problems that I'm having with this. I'll have to turn on the audio for this, so if somebody calls in, it's fine. I guess I might have to move myself over as well so you can see the whole video. There I am, and there's the video. Anyway, so initially I wanted another image in the front and another image in the back, and there's one typo on another one, but this is the next installment of Liberal Dan U, and it specifically has to do with the Iran deal that conservatives like to talk about like they know nothing about. So here we go.
In 2015, a broad international agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, was concluded between Iran and the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the European Union. At its core, this deal was about one specific objective: preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. Under the agreement, Iran agreed to dramatically reduce its nuclear program in exchange for relief from economic sanctions that had crippled its economy. For at least a decade, Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was cut by about 97%. Most advanced centrifuges were removed from operation, and enrichment levels were capped well below weapons-grade levels. Crucially, the deal created the most intrusive inspections team ever negotiated. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, was empowered to monitor Iran's nuclear facilities 24/7, track supply chains, inspect centrifuge manufacturing sites, and verify compliance at every step. This went far beyond prior inspection mechanisms, making any cheating difficult to conceal. The deal also built in a snapback mechanism. If Iran violated key commitments, UN sanctions could be automatically reinstated, preserving leverage and undercutting fears that Iran would simply cheat its way to a bomb. Critics focused on the fact that many restrictions had sunset clauses, meaning they would wind down over time. But proponents pointed out that even with these provisions, the deal extended Iran's breakout time, the time it would take to build a bomb, from a few months to over a year. Another point of controversy was the return of frozen Iranian assets. Many of these funds were not a new payment from the US, but were Iran's own money that had been held in escrow under international sanctions. In a world without the deal, many legal experts expected that global courts or settlement mechanisms would have ordered these funds released eventually anyway, because they were adjudicated as Iranian assets. The JCPOA, however, paired that release with verification and inspections that ensured Iran's nuclear commitments were actually met before sanctions relief flowed. Taken as a whole, the 2015 deal represented a diplomatic framework that constrained Iran's nuclear capabilities, empowered international verification, and reduced the risk of military confrontation. It focused specifically on nuclear proliferation risks, not on broader regional politics, and was supported by a coalition of major powers who shared the goal of keeping nuclear weapons out of a volatile region. If you found this video educational, like and share it. And for more Liberal Dan U content, subscribe to liberaldanradio.com.
So there you go. That is the new video that will come up eventually. Again, it won't frickin' update the damn thing for me like I keep asking it to. There's a button that says update now, and it says that functionality isn't available yet. So Was it Steve says, is that Dan's AI voice again? No, I was just being a ventriloquist and had my lips closed, but I was talking about Iran like this. No, it is my AI voice. It is the Opus Clips was able to generate after just 30 seconds of me talking into some random script. It was able to take that and turn my voice into anything I wanted to say for me. So if for some reason, I'm like hoarse or whatever, I need to create content without, whatever, I can now do so and make content with an AI voice that sounds almost exactly like me. There are some things that I say that it says a little bit differently, and I notice it, but most people won't. So one day Dan will sue his AI voice when it goes rogue. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Thank you for joining over on Twitch. Appreciate you. I've been stuck over in Suno land. I have produced something for her as well, one of her videos. I have to rethrow it into the generator just to give a more specific to what she would want or whatever. But again, it can only be used for personal uses until unless she pays for the whole, deal, the whole Suno payment package or whatever it's called or whatever. Anyway. See, Greg says New Zealand government is now taxing electric cars. Jesus, why? Orb Vroomer, the Detonator. Oh, the Detonator, yeah. Get out, get to the chopper, do it now. Is it narcissistic to have your own AI voice read to you? I don't know. But the first time it made the video and I was like, whoa. Like I showed my wife, I was like, who do you think is talking right now? She's like, it's you. I'm like, it's not. It's AI pretending to be me. And she was like, what? Yeah, we were both shook. So, I'm paid now. I made a new version, less censure. Okay, well, forward me that, and we'll make a new video for it, and we'll put in the prompts that we talked about, and it'll be fun. So, 250 might read better than Benny on his show. Nice. Let's see. Hopefully he never makes a mistake makes it past the midterms to stick us with these monstrosities in the bill. We could hope for a lot of things. Roxanne, at least what goes up can go down just as fast. Just like Werner von Braun would say, once the rockets come up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun. Which is one of my AI songs that I created based off of Tom Lahr's putting his stuff into the public domain, all of his lyric, all his music. So I used AI to make a different version. This was his version was more of gather round while I sing you of Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Ah, Nazi schmatzi, says Werner von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Werner von Braun. Then he has a little piano playing. Some say that he's hypocritical. He'd rather say he's apolitical. Once the rockets come up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun. Then more piano, whatever. You too may be a big hero when you learn to count backwards to 0. In German or English, I know how to count down. But I'm learning Chinese, says Werner von Braun. Anyway, so that's me singing Tom Lahr's song as it was initially done, at least a cappella-wise. But here's my AI version of his song. I haven't made a video for this yet. At some point, I'll be making videos for all of my Tom Lehrer versions. I have 2 up there right now. I have Poisoning Pigeons in the Park and the Vatican Rap instead of the Vatican Rag. But here is the song about Werner von Braun done in a different style.
Gather round
That's pretty much it right there. There's a little bit of instrumental they need to cut off the end of it. So I'll have to do my little Jewish powers as a moil. Maybe use my Jewish space laser to go pew 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 and shut it off. Thank you, Big Hook, for calling in. Appreciate you. Again, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, have to toy around with, you know. Again, I do want to have the phone lines open. We still have them open. 562-LIBDEN1, 562-LIBDEN1, 562-542-3261. So thank you. Let's see. Why do we not have a moon base yet? I would argue the reason we don't have a moon base yet is because we haven't found out a way to make sure it's profitable to the people who would have building the moon base, because we don't do things in the public good anymore. Everything's whether or not there can be commercialized. I guarantee you, if somebody convinced Donald Trump that we could make the first hotel on the moon, call it Trump Hotel, if they would convince him to do that, I guarantee you that he would absolutely have no problem with sending up a moon mission and building a new base on the fucking moon. So, and of course, the whole Tom Lehrer skit before he actually starts singing his song about Werner von Braun is, you know, as actually from before, I guess, the space program, and he basically chastises the government for the idea that we could put some clown on the moon. So, anyway. It lacks on lead guitar, doesn't pass my test, fake as hell, no offense. And no problem. I mean, again, it was just a fun little project that I did. It wasn't one of my more serious ones, like, you know, like Church at Every Game's favorite one.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so do you want a moon base? I don't know. Should we have it? I mean, there's was it the whole show? Was it the show where the Russians make it on Apple TV, where the Russians make it out first to the moon, and then there's a whole big race to go develop and dig on the moon to go get what's needed for nuclear fusion, and so we become much more advanced because of the space race, specifically because was it For All Mankind? I think that's the name of it. So I mean, they had a moon base on there, but it would be great to be able to, you know, for science purposes, to be able to do all this stuff for science, but we don't do things for the science. We don't do things for the public good. We do things because we want to make billionaires more money. So do I want a moon base? Would I love to see a moon base that helps, you know, scientific advancements happen? Do I want to see that? Absolutely. Do I want to see a moon base that just helps the billionaires get richer and helps Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire? Fuck no. So yeah, again, or Ruber goes, I'm a fan of AI. I know a problem with Dan or Hal using it for these purposes. Again, yeah, I mean, if it's, you know, if it's for fun, for funsies, if it's for, you know, helping people be more productive, sure. But if it's for all the nefarious purposes and uses of AI, should have at least some sort of protection on them to kind of set up a wall or whatever, a wall of separation between good and bad, I guess, of good uses and bad uses. So Frank Stiller goes, we can't even get along here, for fuck's sake. Well, I mean, it's a good point. But maybe, you know, some of the people can just send them to the moon, Alice. So, oh look, we have a phone. We have, let's do that. Hey, it's Jennifer. What's going on? Good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
Hey, what's up?
Good to hear your voice. Thank you for calling in. What you want to talk about?
Hey, you know what? I wanted to say that I think that they need to call in Allison Nutlick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they called in Hillary Clinton. She's not even in the files at all.
Right.
You know, just because she's Bill Clinton's wife. And they have Nutlick in there. And she went to the island with her kids and the nannies.
Right.
I just think that it was some kind of nanny swap.
Maybe. Nanny swap or kid swap? I don't know. But I mean, again.
Well, both.
Yeah.
Both. Like, I think the nannies might have been kids too. I mean, their kids were old enough that it doesn't even seem like they would need nannies anyway, I guess.
Right.
Unless they don't trust their kids to not start a fire or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
as a parent, that is definitely one thing that I had to be like, do I trust my kid to leave them alone, or are they going to burn the house down when we're away? So far, they've not burned the house down when we're away, but and when we're here, they sometimes seem like they're close to killing each other. But yeah, no, it's absolutely they should bring in Lutnick or Nutlick or whatever. They should bring in his wife. Yeah, but they're only bringing in the people who they think are going to embarrass the Democrats and not the people who are going to embarrass the Republicans. It took, if you watched on the House show the other day, he was going over the vote as to whether or not they should bring back Pam Bondi in, and they were very hesitant on closing the vote because they, I guess, were afraid to actually close the vote and have it be like, we have to bring Bondi back in and have more conversations with her so we can hear about how great the stock market is as some sort of justification for kid touchers. So
yeah, because she's been a part of the story, a part of Epstein's life, at least back to 2019. There's this photograph with her and what looks like two good old boys, and Epstein. It's like she was part of this before she even, got put on the administration, of course.
Because and she even didn't even push all the charges through. She even, didn't follow through with stuff. She made deals or whatever. I'm sure once more things are uncovered, I'm sure we'll find even more damning evidence against her as well. So.
Exactly, man. I'm just praying for November, man. I'm just praying for November, man.
I'm wondering if after the next meeting, if she's actually brought in to Congress to give more testimony to Congress in an open hearing, I'm wondering if that would be enough, if they would be able to embarrass her enough like they embarrassed Noem enough to make Donald Trump be like, oh, now you're fired too. Which everyone might cheer, but then again, who are they going to replace and how is it going to be worse?
Well, and then, he fired Noem, but he just put her somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
I want him on Skid Row. I don't want him put in a different department. I want to see him down completely.
Right. Well, they should be in prison, but of course,
yes.
Bondi, that's not going to happen until we get a whole new DOJ. Greg in the chat
says,
that's
why I said I'm praying for November. Whatever it takes. Here in Texas, it's like just to get Cornyn and Cruz out would be a fucking miracle.
Yeah. All you got to do to get Texas. Cruz out is have it be cold. So have it be cold, and
exactly,
then you get Cruz
right?
out. Where in Texas are you?
I'm only 20 miles from the Louisiana border. I'm in East Texas. I actually work at the Saltgrass Steakhouse in Bossier City on the boardwalk.
Oh, nice. Very
in
cool.
Louisiana, yeah.
Well, if I ever met myself out that way, we'll have to come meet up. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, you know what? I love the version that I had, but the thing is that when I put the original poem into Chat, GPT is so PC. It didn't
absolutely.
want to use actual words that were in my poem. So, and then what I wanted to do in Suno was change the lyrics in the original song that I liked, but it would never do it. This is this problem that I keep running into with AI where it has to redo the whole thing. It doesn't take tiny edits well. It won't just change one thing or another. You almost have to completely redo it. But my line that I wanted in there were a couple of them, but one of them was what kind of nitwit needs to decorate his shit? And so I was like, this has got to be in here somewhere. And so I had to redo it, and it's still industrial like pop, but it's not as trancy. But it's got more bite to it lyric wise, and meaning wise, because I wasn't entirely happy with what ChatGPT did with the lyrics, but I appreciate it, man. Like, if you don't have time, you don't have the credits, there's no big deal. I'm actually gonna try and I gotta figure out all this stuff myself because I just got my bachelor's and I'm gonna probably go into marketing, but I know full and well that if I'm not really familiar with AI, then I'm not going to have a place in the job force, So.
Right. So you definitely got to tool around with it and play around with it. That's one thing. It's like I'm kind of trying to, when I'm at my new job that I'm at, I'm trying to see what areas could be affected by AI. Part of the problem, there are a lot of law firms, and I'm working for another law firm again. There are law firms that have that are very hesitant to try and reach out on AI because they don't want, especially open AI systems, because they don't want their data, that's the client data, to be into the cloud somewhere and to be able to be found out somewhere. So a lot of law firms will use closed AI systems to help that out, but still, the firm I was previously at before they're now declaring bankruptcy, they basically were very hesitant to jump on it. Then at the very end, they finally had to convince some people to use it, and then at the end of the day, it's like, well, all that work for naught now. So
yeah, I did my very first AI interview today, and they sent me a very polite email that I was not being considered for the position. So
yeah, I just got one of those today, and I'm like, oh, I was like one of the first jobs I applied for back in like mid-January, and it took them 2 months to get back to me. I'm like, oh, well, thank you for getting back to me, but it doesn't matter because I got hired pretty darn quickly afterwards anyway. So
that's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was.
I'm looking for a job, so yeah.
It fell into my lap. Like one of the attorneys at work was like, hey, there's this law firm that's looking for people, and didn't even say anything about tech, IT people. And I was like, hey, I emailed the managing partner. I was like, do you have a position that might fit my skill set? And then by Friday that was like Thursday during the day. By Friday we had an interview scheduled in the afternoon, and then I was given an interview or an offer letter the next week, and my job started the 6th. So and then I've been there for a month now. A month tomorrow, which is crazy. I can't believe I've been there a month since.
Is it remote days. Or do you have to go in person?
No, it's all remote. Yeah, they're in Utah, so I get to be fully remote. So I'm very happy with that. I like to be able to work in my PJs.
Exactly. Well, my degree is English creative writing. I'm a poet. Obviously I went for the big bucks.
Right.
Being a poetry major, but I was thinking that maybe I needed to look into some legal aid, like legal administrative, or legal assistant jobs. I've been in leasing and property management for a long time, so I can always fall back into that, but I really don't want to.
Right.
But it's just like every time you try to go, if you search marketing, you always end up with these like brand ambassador, like this stupid like hanging flyers on doors. They're not real positions, for real people who really need to pay their rent and pay their bills.
Right.
It's really hard. I'm thinking like even if I do my marketing major in my master's, is AI going to take over all the roles that I could possibly get as an entry level marketing, even if I get a master's in marketing?
Right.
So it's just,
yeah, but again, and that world makes me go back to the whole thing is that we need to rethink, just how we make sure people get paid, and we need to reconsider things like universal basic income to make sure that when those companies make the big bucks off of AI, that they have to pay their more taxes to be able to cover the fact that everybody should be able to live and eat and have a house over their roof over their head and, be able to survive. I'm not saying you have to be able to live in a mansion, but at least be able to have whatever you need so that then you can, do the jobs that are available or make your own content and stuff like that. And then you'd have a much better system in society, but we're nowhere near that because too many people would call that socialism, even though they do that crap in Alaska now with they give some sort of a UBI off of their oil stipends, off of the oil profits. But when Sarah Palin bragged about it back during the 2008 election, and nobody batted an eyelash at it, but when a Democrat suggests we do it, it's whatever. Kind of like had Biden done it, right? So
yeah, well, here I am with Abbott, so
yeah.
I mean, even during the pandemic, whenever other states were able to continue the emergency unemployment benefits, Texas didn't. And I was sick from long COVID and wasn't keeping up with the news, and all of a sudden the unemployment cut out because like states like California, even though Trump ended the unemployment, the state, like in California, continued it out of their own funds, their state funds.
Right.
But Texas didn't, and I mean, Texas is just like, they're going to, I live 20 miles from the border, and I can tell you that, I mean, I like Louisiana better. I just, I don't know, it's just seems like such a short distance, but culturally it's a lot different, you know, and I really like it. I originally started at the Saltgrass in Texas, and I mean, even the difference between the two restaurants is completely different. The culture is different, you know, like they let me wear my crystals and stuff like that, like whereas in Texas they frowned upon it, wanted me to hide them and all this kind of stuff. You know, it's just way more uptight and conservative, you know. But I'm afraid, though, that every time the stock market dips, that the billionaires are buying the dip, that the only people that are going to be left with any stocks are going to be the billionaires.
Right. Pretty much. I mean, that's the thing. Is everyone talks about how wonderful and great how the stock market is and whatever, like Pam Bondi. Oh, we've reached over 50K, but we covered that on the show. We basically say, no, most of the people that are invested are people who are the wealthier Americans. That doesn't help the people who are, you know, working paycheck to paycheck or have to work, you know, whatever. I would be interested to see. I mean, how long have you done your taxes yet for last year?
Yeah, I did, because it was real simple. And I owe them because I have a real estate license, and when I filed before or right at the pandemic, and I did it quickly, so I didn't add my deductions for the Board of Realtors fees that I paid. So if I had added those deductions, I wouldn't have owed them anything. So I ended up with a little bit of a return that ended up to go to pay for back taxes. So,
but did you know, were you able to, you know, get that whole, you save money on the no tax on tips? Were you able to figure out how much money you saved on the no tax on tips things, or was it anything?
No, because the problem is that you're basically, well, no, I don't think I don't think that happened, because if I think about the amount that I was supposed to get back, I don't think that, I think it was a lie. I don't think it actually happened, because
it's technically in the law, but again, my argument has always been the it sounds nice, but in reality, it's not going to cause much people, if anybody, to actually get their taxes on their tips back. So, I mean, I'm sure
what they need. Yeah, if you really want someone to get the benefit from it, then don't take it out of their check in the first place.
Right.
You know, because forget having to wait a year, you know, and to have to file it, you know, on your taxes or whatever. But in my opinion, it didn't seem to make much of a difference at all from the year before last. So,
that's fair enough.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't done my taxes yet. I need to start get crack on it to make sure that I can do all the other stuff. That'll be probably a weekend project, this or next weekend. But yeah, it's the amount of taxes, you know, I'm sure. But again, you can't really say, oh, you're going to get back more this year. Why? I'm not going to get back more because I withheld less. So therefore, I know I'm going to get back less money than I got last year because I withheld less, because last year my refund was like $4,000. So like, why would I give the government a $4,000 loan when I don't have to? So who knows? Then, of course, the cost of my health insurance went up, which meant that my taxable income went down. So there's all sorts of things that come into part. So all the people who want to make overly simplistic arguments about the whole thing don't understand the realities of the system to begin with. So, and it's all built to help the billionaires and not us.
Exactly, because I mean, even when they increased the minimum wage, it was only for federal workers, and I'm still working at $2.15 an hour as a server. Actually, as a bartender, I get $5, you know, which has helped. And I get a tip out from the servers, it's kind of a promotion. I've gotten some more money. But, I mean, really, last year, my return was only going to be around $398, and this year it was only $100 more. So I don't see how the no tax on tips made any difference at all.
Right.
But it certainly does on my paycheck. So I don't know. Maybe I should have gone to H&R Block, but I used Chime to do it or whatever. But I had stocks during the pandemic. I worked in a restaurant, so I knew how much they changed they made rules about how often you had to sanitize every surface in your restaurant. And it was about every hour and a half, every 2 hours, and there was this like pink sanitizing you know, chemical that we would use to sanitize our surfaces. So I found out the company that produced that chemical, and I bought stocks. and while the stock market was low in that chemical, and I made about $1,000.
Nice.
But the thing is that then that's when, when people started investing in the stock market because they had more money in their pocket, that's when they all clamped it down and cut off the unemployment and did all this other stuff, and to where the point is I had to sell because I couldn't afford to be in the stock market anymore. And I feel like that's what it's going to be now, is that the only people that are really going to be in the stock market are wealthy people. So.
Right. Anyway, well, thanks you so much. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
And we'll open it up for a little bit longer at least. It was great talking to you as well, but feel free to call back anytime.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
And there you go. That was Jennifer calling in. Appreciate you, Jennifer. We still leave the phone lines open. Again, I forgot to turn off the number. 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261 to call in. We'll leave it open for at least a couple more minutes to make sure that if anybody else wants to call in, they could do so. But otherwise, we'll probably end the show pretty darn soon. Make sure I can get to sleep a little earlier today, though I do have some post-show work to do, post-show editing to be able to do, right? So anyway, okay, not here. Okay, good, Abe and Eric's. Nice to hear that you actually didn't lose your right or whatever. I'm just, you shouldn't shut up. Nobody here should shut up. We should all be loud and proud in fighting back against Donald Trump and his tyranny and all that other bullshit he pushes. So, man, we still got 125 viewers, but still only 71 likes. So please make sure to smash that like button as you're here. If you haven't done so already, if you have done so, just ignore this message. So, what are we at likes wise here yet? I don't think we got 52 likes right now, so it's still not enough. But again, if you haven't, those AI voices are calling Dan to work. Who's the bot? That'll be funny if I start having AI voices calling me. There's AI trolls calling into the show to talk about stuff. Anyway, so doesn't seem like anybody else is calling right now, so we'll just go ahead and shut down the phone line there. Shut it down there. And again, last week, again, I said it was funny because last Thursday I'm like, if there's anything big that happens at the weekend, and of course the big thing that happened over the weekend was Donald Trump fucking invaded or attacked Iran. But of course, instead of having a show, what I did is I made a new parody. So I don't know. Was that the best decision? I don't know. I was kind of busy in and out during the day. I was having some, automated stuff working on it as I was working on other things. But again, if anything else big happens over the course of the weekend, we'll either go live or make some other content that'll come up. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching Liberal Dan Radio Talk from Left That's Right. Because remember to like, share, comment, go on other videos, like, share, comment on those as well, interact with other people, help the algorithm. Al Gore needs more rhythm. And for the rest of you, again, I'll give the reminder one more time. I'm sorry for spamming the chat with the Instagram links or whatever, but please make sure to we'll do it that way. Or maybe we'll just do it this way and just have the Instagram link and not the and not everything else. So let's just do that and paste, and there you go, and that and paste, and there you go. And please just make sure to, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button. There's only about 4 hours left to go in the contest, so the more likes that happen, the better. Share it across your social media channel. Share it with other sparklers, other people that you might know, other mother truckers of the Trucker John Show, etc., etc. So we are going to end this week's episode today's episode of Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left That's Right. We'll be back Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. Appreciate everybody for everything that you do for the show. It wouldn't be this good of a show without you, the viewers, who are helping out by commenting in the chat, calling into the show, and contributing and helping in all the different ways that you can. So until next time, have a great one. Peace.
so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Years of med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages of ready review. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. He said people don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons, drunk nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But that was argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, two wrongs don't make a right. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. Univision, AP, the fact check crew. Oh, acting all surprised that the sky is blue. It wasn't no secret. We knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologist blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew. Oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. You unveiled oxygen like contraband air. Like 6 there. You sat down, claiming to discover chairs. War called money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil, can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided, a surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines.
In 2015.
Cold and still, just a vessel to them. Not a human with will. No consent, no voice. No chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Stacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright, cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace, and those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten. Hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. Object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. An administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Documents stacked floor to the wall. Top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Else includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Encampments downtown, tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't need. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. A chaotic secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. If you can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.